Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday evening, November the 6th, 2022. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. And we made it through another week. It's just like living in a sci-fi movie these days. But I'd like to welcome everyone to the show tonight. This will be my weekly update that I'll be putting on YouTube, where we're going to go over methane and sea ice and earthquakes and climate related items for this week. And as we're tracking the collapse of the environment, and I'd like to start out by thanking the person who sent me the very kind donation this week, actually today, and really appreciate it. Very generous and kind donation. And if y'all are not aware, my YouTube channel is not monetized. I don't make any money off of this channel, and if you'd like to help support my efforts, there are a couple of ways. They're in the description box below. One is with my PayPal link, and the other is through my Subscribestar page. You can join for only $5 a month, and once you become a member, if you want to give donations there too, you can. And on my Subscribestar page, I post pretty much daily on the things that I track every day. So if you want to keep up with it during the week, that's the place to go. So we're going to start out with Climate Reanalyzer. Here we are for today, Sunday, and here are the 2-meter maximum temperatures. We've got some purples in Greenland, and here from the North Pole across to Siberia, and that's colder air. And winter has hit where I live in the Reno, Nevada area, and it's been cold this week, and we got a little bit of snow, just light dustings when I woke up a couple of mornings this week. And so winter is here, and also in the US we turned back our clocks last night, and we're not on daylight savings now, and that I always get out of sync whenever we have to change our clocks, so it's just the way it is. So here, looking around the world, we've got whites here in Brazil, a few whites across Africa and southern Africa, and a lot more whites across Australia, and white denotes about 40 C or higher temperature, and that's about 100 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. And so you can see the cooler temperatures coming down through China. Here's the Himalayas, that's in the blues, and here through the US too, but we've got warmer temperatures on the east side. Here's 2-meter temperature anomaly for today. Here over the Arctic, we've got reds and browns over this East Siberia Sea and reaching over to the Beaufort Sea. We've got browns in Siberia, more browns coming across to Svalbard, and browns in the Kara Sea and across Russia, and Europe you still have some browns, and it's lightening up. It's not as many browns as there has been. Look at Greenland. You're half blue and half brown. And Canada on this west side is mainly in dark blues. And that dark blue is about 10°C lower than normal. Then we've got browns here from about Texas east. Then we've got reds up here in Canada. And one thing you'll notice, and I've been noticing for the last couple of weeks here in this eastern part of Canada, it's been having high methane readings. And that's been going on for a few weeks, and I don't remember high methane from that part of Canada before, but you'll see when we go to cams. And here's the flat view. And see, we've got browns through a lot of Russia and down all the way through China, India, and so on. And then the southern part of South America, dark browns, warmer than normal. Worldwide, we're up 0.4°C higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is up 1.1°C. The Arctic is up 2.7°C. The Antarctic is down 1.7°C. The southern hemisphere is down 0.3°C. And the tropics are down 0.1°C. Here's precipitation and clouds for today, and all this green is rain, and it's still raining coming up towards the Greenland coast, and let's see, up towards Norway. We've got looks like a little bit of rain here in the Barents Sea, right next to snow. And see the green coming up through Canada there. Here's the flat view. And I'd like to also point out down here in the Antarctic, look at the rain. Look how far south it's coming. It's coming right up to this western peninsula in the Antarctic. And we got, see the pinkish purple, that's freezing rain there. And now this part of Antarctica does get rain throughout the year, but I think it's kind of early in their melting season to be seeing rain that far south. I don't know, that's just kind of shocking to me to see it that far south this early in their melting season. Here are the jet loops. There are no streams anymore. It's just these weird chaotic loops. And the jet stream broke in the summer of 2021, and it's just been getting worse since then. And see this line further south, and it's like the northern stream and the southern stream are almost merging, so that can't be good. Nothing about that can be good. And we'll look at sea ice in a minute. And here's sea surface temperature anomaly. This is for yesterday, the 5th. We still have a lot of browns in the Arctic, here also in the Chukchi Sea, and this is, so wherever you see the browns, there won't be any refreeze until the browns go away. And it takes a while, and it's still almost all of the Arctic Ocean is now in the dark. And so once it gets dark, then it cools off after that. Here's our blob in the North Atlantic. Here's the flat view. Here's this blob in the North Pacific, kind of in the middle part of the North Pacific. And browns, this is kind of a constant from Indonesia over across the Pacific. The Mediterranean, most of it is still in deep browns, and so on. And the darkest, that dark brown, that's about 3°C higher than normal. Then the red is about 5°C higher. When you see the pinkish color, that's the highest. That's about 6°C higher than normal. And I'm thinking they really need to update their chart so that they can show higher anomalies than 6°C. So now we'll move on to methane. Well, this has been a disappointing week with NOAA. They've had a data outage. I don't know why, but we haven't even had enough days this week of data to even have a change for this week. So this is for Friday the 4th in the morning, Met B, and 469 millibar, and you see it's all grayed out, and it says no data. And in the afternoon, the same thing. We've seen this for days now. And for Saturday the 5th, in the morning, same thing, no data. And in the afternoon, no data. So I don't know what's going on. And I will show. Let's look at this. So here's our chart and spreadsheet. Now last week on my show on Sunday, the 29th data for Saturday was at 1945, and it had gone down 4 parts per billion that week. And we see the line going down, and we had decided that we probably peaked out there on the 13th of October at 1951, and that's been the highest we had this year. So here's what's happened with the data this week. So this was on my show last Sunday. Here we were at 1945, and then for Sunday the 30th, it was no change. It was still 1945. And then on the 31st, that's when the missing data started showing up. On the Met 1 in the afternoon, there was a lot of missing data, so much that I just didn't even count the numbers. And then starting on the 1st, no data, just like what we saw. 2nd, no data. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And that's where we're at the end of this week. Oh, and I want to put this color in. There we go. So, I looked at the NOAA website and for notifications or messages, general satellite messages, and well, let's refresh and see if they put anything else up. Yeah. Here we go. This is the latest one. Message is put up. Product outage. METOP1 and METOP3. HRPT data loss. Issued November 7th at 3:05 Zulu time. And product impacted METOP1 Rev 52599, whatever all that means. Length of outage 2 hours. So if you look, all of these messages for outages and no data, look at this. That's just been this week. Look at that. All of these. So they've had problems. Here was this one, October 25th. So all of these things, problems with getting data. So that I'm assuming that's why we don't have any NOAA methane data. And it's not just methane. I'll show you when you go. Like here, temperature for Saturday. See, same thing. And it's all grays on all these different levels. And it's like that all the way through. And here's water vapor. Same thing. Ozone. See? Same thing. Morning. There's some morning reading. There's the afternoon. Same thing. So it's not just methane. It's all of them. Carbon dioxide. See? It's just dark. No data. So if anyone has any other information on this, if you'll just leave a comment, then that would be helpful. So now we'll look at CAM's data. We're going to look at Saturday and see they only updated through Saturday. And we're going to look at the Arctic view and surface level. And they did this last weekend too, where they didn't put up any Sunday data for any of these until later on in the week. And so the latest data for any of these on the left, like sulfur dioxide, ozone, all of that, is just the latest data is for Saturday. So there's that. So we'll look at Arctic view surface level for Saturday. Here's our color ledger at the bottom. And so the data is for Saturday, And the forecast period is Sunday through Wednesday. So Komsomolets is billowing again. You can see right here. That's coming up through the sea ice. It's refrozen around there. And we see all this area from Norway across to Russia. And this is coming up from Europe, this dark, all the way across. See, we've got higher readings all the way across. And see, the background color is yellows and orange. And even coming out across the ocean here, we're seeing higher background readings. See these waves moving out. I mean, I'm thinking methane has gone up this week. Just from looking at all of this, it just looks worse to me. But, you know, we really need numbers, not just a range. We really need the numbers. And that's what we were able to get on NOAA. Okay, now we'll go to the North Pole view. And look at Spain, Portugal. You're filled up. You're from Europe all the way across, and this European area was really filled up this week. Some days it was just solid dark blob all across. And the highest range is this dark, I call it black, but it's that dark reddish brown, and that's 2160 to 10,000 parts per billion. See, there we go. See, it's in the forecast period. See, that's what I'm talking about. Solid blob, like what we're seeing here in China. See that? Now, India is filled up. It's spilling over the Bengal Bay and the Arabian Sea. Here's the Persian Gulf. Here's China, Southern Asia. And these waves moving out. That's very high methane when you see these waves just pulsating. And here in North America, see this wave. And this from Texas east, I mean, they've had so much rain. And so you usually see the high methane showing up within a couple of days after they get the rain. See, at the beginning you see the higher readings here in Canada. Watch it. Here, I'll stop it. Here at the beginning, see the reds. Oh, this eastern side. So there's that. Now we'll go to the global view. And here along the equatorial regions, we're seeing the darker blue creeping in, and that denotes 1840 parts per billion. This lighter blue is 1860, and so it's about half and half in the southern hemisphere of 1840 and 1860 as our background readings. That's just, see, just solid. Look at that. Now we'll look at 500 HPA. And here we can see it's pretty solid over the Arctic region, and even coming further down, most of Canada, down over Europe, and down, see, very far down to Japan, and here's some hot spots, India, and this is what is that? Like the Philippines region, or I'm not sure. Indonesia. And then total column. And we've got the highest still here from China down. Here's India. And look at these reds across the Arctic in total column. And normally we don't see the total column readings that high over the Arctic. So there's that. Now I wanted to show from yesterday. I'm going to skip through this sea ice. We're going to look at the current sea ice in a minute. Okay, this is the latest from CAMS. This is sulfur dioxide yesterday. This is total column. And here's at 500 HPA. We can see the highest reading is here, popping up at Popocatépetl volcano. And there's really nothing else that's that remarkable here. Here's the ozone hole. This is yesterday. This is over the Antarctic, and it's gradually shrinking down. It's still covering most of the continent, and we're still seeing 4 layers down into the danger zone inside this black line. And here's the Arctic ozone. And see, we've got the yellow-green across a lot of this North Pole region. Here's greens over Russia. Now here, look at this aqua over the northeast US. And here's the global view. Look at this. That's a big aqua patch, and that's thin. That's below the green in the thinness level, and just above the danger zone level. And so that's a big hole there. And there are a few things that eat up the ozone. One is high methane readings, high prolonged methane readings. You'll see thinner ozone. Also sulfur dioxide. High sulfur dioxide will eat up the ozone. And let's see, nuclear. Anything nuclear causes the ozone to not be able to, causes the earth not to be able to produce the ozone. So, see all these greens. So there's that. That's all of those. And I'll just close these out when I'm finished with them. Now we'll move on to sea ice. We're going to start with this slideshow from Climate Reanalyzer. This is sea ice and snow cover for today. And when we zoom in, we can see where the regrowth is happening. We've got a little more coming down in the Baffin Bay and a little fringe of ice here. This is the north part of the Hudson Bay, and these tributaries are filling in the Canadian archipelago region, and we can see it's filling back in the Beaufort Sea up to Alaska and Canada. It's inching back slightly in the Chukchi Sea, and here it's pretty solid all along the Russia coastline, all around up to the Kara Sea, and it's inching back here towards Novaya Zemlya. We can see Svalbard is still open. Novaya Zemlya is still open. This North Atlantic, the water is so much warmer that as long as you have the warm water temperatures, you're not going to have the refreeze. So let's go through our slideshow for this week. Now, on my show last Sunday, the latest data Climate Reanalyzer had up was for Saturday the 29th. So here's where we were in our show last Sunday. So here's the 29th, and then the next reading was for Monday the 31st. So that was a big change in 2 days. See, look at this open area along Canada, and then in 2 days, see, it's filling in. So here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So there's that. Now we'll look at the U.S. Navy models. This is Arctic sea ice thickness for today. And this corresponds to what we just saw on Climate Reanalyzer. See the purple coming back in, even light lavender. It's thin, just like wispy ice, but it's better than nothing. Here's where it's coming back in the Kara Sea, and around Franz Josef Land, and see open around Svalbard, creeping down along this east coast of Greenland, and creeping down in the Baffin Bay, and see all these purples in these tributaries. Here's the Beaufort Sea, and coming up to the coastline of Alaska there, and over to Siberia here and all across. Here's the Bering Strait. Now it's just getting a little fringe of ice back in the Bering Strait there. And we're seeing the interior parts thickening. Here, this aqua, this is what's left of the thicker sea ice after the melt, and it's been spreading out. This east side has been kind of stretching to the east, and this west side has been stretching to the west, all kind of coming, meeting here above Ellesmere Island. So we've got aquas here, brighter aquas, we've got darker aquas, and the aqua color, the dark aqua is about 1.5 meters thick. The brighter aqua is like 2 to 2.5 meters thick. When you get into the green, like this band here, that's about 3 meters thick. And just little lines of red showing up. That's like 4 to 5 meters thick. Now here's the 30-day animation. This was updated to yesterday, so the data goes back 3 weeks, and the forecast goes out to next Saturday. So we'll see what the forecast is here. So the extent is just inching out. So let's zoom in a little more. So let's watch this aqua area. See, this is kind of moving down up here, this northeast edge. See it sliding down, and it's thickening a tiny bit. And in the forecast period, we're seeing it kind of anchor in along the coastline and thickening up a little bit. Okay, here we are at the end of the model. Here are the greens, and see it's anchoring in. And this west side is still sliding down. That's what it does. This is the direction of this Beaufort gyre, and a lot of times it'll go in a clockwise direction, which will pull this ice down as it slides down. Sometimes it goes in the counterclockwise direction, so it'll pull it out away from the coastline, and then when it changes direction, it shoves it back. So the ice is always in motion, and sometimes it's hard to see the motion, but it's always there, kind of moving Sometimes it's moving faster than other times, but it's not static. Here's the Beaufort sea ice thickness. This is for today. This is Canada on the right. Here's this west end. And see the little lines of red showing up. And then the aqua and green. Here's the light lavender coming back along the coastlines here along Alaska and Canada. And we can see this Chukchi Sea. There's still a lot of open water there. And this 30-day animation was updated to today. So the forecast goes out to next Sunday here. Watch how this moves down. See? It really moves down a lot within a 30-day period. We also see it thickening. Here from light lavender to darker purple, and purple's moving into blues. So, just doing its thing. So we'll be tracking this refreeze all winter. And here we are in the Antarctic for today. Now, the sun is up, and the melt is beginning to really kick in. We see it mainly melting. We're seeing coming apart here on the southeast edge, also on this eastern side, and this part on this eastern edge, you know, the extent doesn't ever come back out that far, not like some of the other areas. And then on this western peninsula, this has been an area that was melting really fast. Here's the 30-day animation, and this was updated to yesterday, so the forecast goes out to next Saturday. So watch here. You can really see it shrinking. See? And thinning a lot on the eastern side. Watch right here. See, it's almost all white by the end there. And this Weddell Sea is thinning. You can see the colors changing from this dark blue to purple out here. So that means it's thinning down and melting. Now moving on to National Snow and Ice Data Center. This is for yesterday the 5th. And this is Arctic sea ice concentration. See all the whites? That means that there are no spaces. It's solid, frozen. It doesn't mean it's thick necessarily. It just means that there are no open cracks. The cracks have refrozen, or the leads. Where you see a lot of the blues, that's refreezing. and it's in different stages of refreeze. And here's the chart for the refreeze, the extent. This blue line is this year. It's kind of like, it doesn't look as sharp of an up line. It looks like it's kind of angling a little bit further down now, running parallel with 2012 right now with the refreeze. Here's the Antarctic, and here's their chart for the melting. This blue line is this year, and the greenish line is last year. Still below last year, running parallel though. And they're still reporting Greenland. And here, I'm not seeing any melt for yesterday. This is the cumulative melt days for the year. The white is where there was no melt. And so this area is getting smaller every year, where these other areas, they're ramping up. And here's the chart. There was a little spike. I can't remember what day it was, but there was melt on the southwest edge of Greenland where it had been raining. That was up about 5%. But you know, it should be stopped by now, or no melting, depending, you know. I mean, as things heat up, I'm assuming that the melting will last longer. So I don't know if they're going to change their chart. We'll see. That's all of those. Now we'll move on to NASA Worldview. Here we are for the 6th, and the big black area, that's where the sun has gone down, and we can see it's covering pretty much all of the Arctic Ocean, to speak of. Just a few spots around the coastlines where it's still open. So let's look at just what we can see on the satellite image right now. Here's ice refreezing, see, along Siberia there. There's the ice. Let's see if that's ice or just clouds. Okay, so a little wisp of ice down here refreezing by Alaska. Here's the Bering Strait. See, so a lot of clouds there. Here it was on the 4th. Still open. Here's the ice coming down. So it's open right now. Then, oh, let's look here. Here's the sea ice. See? That's the edge of the Beaufort Sea. there's Greenland. There's the Baffin Bay. No ice yet down here. That's all clouds. And here's the rain. See, coming up, almost up to the coastline. And coming around. Okay, so there's Murmansk. Here's Novaya Zemlya. It's all in the dark now. And see, this Russia coastline is just barely in the light still. And not really seeing any ice yet there. There's ice, see? There's ice in the Gulf of Ob. Kind of coming back. And that's it. That's it for the satellite view. Now, let's look at, here's sea ice concentration for today. And we'll turn on our blue marble layer. Here we go. So wherever you see the colors, that's where it's refreezing. Now the solid white, like I said, that's a good concentration. And even where you see the light pink, that means that there's openings. It's not very concentrated. Well, it's still early in the refreeze. So let's go back. Here we were in our show last Sunday. So we'll just click through and see what happens. So here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, you know, every day you can see pretty dramatic changes there. Now, we'll turn the blue marble layer off, and let's see if we can see anything with the nighttime layer. Zoom in. So here's Greenland. Here's the nearest strait. We'll start here. There's the ice. See the dark? That's open water there. And here the model just gets kind of dark. Can't really make anything out. Here's the nearest strait. You can see the ice. And there's a lot of open water still in between those pieces of ice. And here's where it opens out into the Baffin Bay. There's some ice, see? Here's ice. See that? This is Ellesmere Island here. Can't tell much. And then coming along the coastline. Here's the ice. See the big cracks? That's what I'm talking about. With it dark like that, that means that that's open water and this area is not refrozen. So that's why it's not solid white on the concentration. See? This is the Beaufort Sea. See all that. Here's Alaska. See all these lights? That's Koktovik. It's always lit up. And coming around. And see. Okay, here's the Russia coastline. Here's the ice. It's still open. See, right around the coastline there. There's Wrangell Island. And where are we? There's the Taymyr Peninsula. Here's the Laptev Sea. See what we can see here. A lot of clouds there. Let's go back. Here, this is better. Here it was yesterday. There's the ice. See? Here's Severnaya Zemlya. See the little lights? That's on land. See the lights? Someone lives there, I guess, or there's a base or something. Look, there's a light. You can see the ice there. Look at this. That's lit up. This is Komsomolets. See how lit up it is there? Not today. Here it is today. Look at this yesterday, though. See? So this is the area where we're seeing the hemorrhaging, billowing methane on cams right around Komsomolets here. So there's the ice. See, a lot of open water. Here's Franz Josef Land. Look at that light. That's weird. Let's look at yesterday. Wow, a lot of light there. Some of this is reflection, I think, in the clouds, or just having to do with the model. But I don't know, it's weird. Here's Svalbard. See the lights? There's Longyearbyen. That's, this is where the seed vault is. Wonder how they're doing. You don't hear much about them anymore. Here's Greenland. And we're back to where we started from. Look, here's the North Pole. See, that's kind of bright. You can see the ice here. See? It's kind of grainy, but that's ice. Definitely. Here are the lines. See? There are the big cracks. Alright, so there's that. Now we'll turn off our nighttime layer. Now we'll hop down to the Antarctic. Shield your eyes, it's going to be bright. See, I told you. Sun is up. So we're going to start on this western edge, western peninsula. Here's our iceberg we're tracking, A76. He's still there. He's just been going back and forth. So we'll go back. I'll show you what happened this week. Here we were last Sunday. Kind of hard to see. It was kind of, here we go, horizontal here. That's under the cloud. So that was the 29th. Here's the 30th, Sunday. Here's Monday. Look at that. That's a good view. Here's Tuesday. See, it's rotating clockwise. Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, cloud there. Friday. Oh, Saturday. What happened? Here's Friday. Okay, there's Thursday. Friday. Oh, I'm confused. Here's Saturday. Here he is under the cloud. And here he is today. So it doesn't look like it's moving anywhere, just kind of rotating back and forth. I don't know why that is, but there's that. So here's the western peninsula. And this is the Weddell Sea here. There's the ice, see? Now I want to show, look over here. Here's the Brunt ice shelf. And no clouds today. It's really an exceptional view. And see the line? That's the Halloween crack going all the way across. And here's another crack coming up. That one developed last year, I think. I can't remember. I don't remember all the names of these cracks. Here's another crack that you can see. Here's another one. Normally we have clouds covering, and can't see all of these cracks. There's the water. See, open. So this is thin right in here. Now last year a big chunk broke off right there, and it rotated down here and got caught up in the Weddell Sea. Now this whole Brunt ice sheet area this is an area where methane comes up, and we'll be able to see it on cams once we get a lower background reading down here. See this open water? Here's the north side. Coming around. And here's the Amory ice shelf. This is a good view. See the line there. And this this big piece broke off. I think it was last year or year before. And you can see the flow. Then coming on around this eastern edge, see there's hardly any ice here. And coming down. Okay, here's the Totten Glacier. Here's the tongue. To see the open water. And see here, all of that open water. This is on that southeast edge where we saw very little ice. Coming around, here's the Ross Sea. See, here's the ice. Comes way out here. Right here is Ross Island. There's Mount Erebus, the volcano. See the shadow? Here's the ice. And right at that tippy point, that's where McMurdo Research Station is. And coming around, see the open water. Now we're coming around to the west side. Okay. Get ready for the Doomsday Glacier. Here we are. It's right here. It's there. There's a big cloud there today. But look at yesterday. This is an extraordinary view. This is Thwaites Glacier, and that's the ice. See the texture? And right down here, see it's already broken off. See that big open area? And this is the tongue. Big long tongue. And see how that's breaking up. Now that had refrozen somewhat during their winter, but see that's in big breakup mode. So we'll be watching this, and then right up here, this is Pine Island Glacier, and you can see the flow here coming down. And this is open water, those dark spots. And it calved off along here a couple of years ago. And then this is sea ice where it refroze. Open here. And then coming around. And we're back to where we started from. So there's that. Now we'll look at earthquakes for the week. Here on USGS, we've got 194 earthquakes in the last 24 days. 24 hours. What am I thinking? Getting tired. These big dots, these are 5s. Like 5.0 Peru. Here in the Aleutian Islands, 5.1 Adak, Alaska. Here, 5.4 Germ, Afghanistan. Here, 5.1 South Sandwich Islands. And then these smaller dots are 4s. Look at this one, 4.5 Kokstad, South Africa. And here's a couple in the Fiji area. Here's Indonesia, 4.9, 4.7 Itoman, Japan, and so on. Let's go. Here's Puerto Rico. What have they got? They've got 8 today. 3.8. Pretty good size. That's the largest near Indios. Oh, sorry. 3.8 San Juan, Puerto Rico. It's out there in the ocean. Hawaii. What have you got today? 16. And movement spread out. This is Mauna Loa. This is Kilauea, and this is Pahala. So 2's and under there. Alaska, what have you got today? 55, that's an average number. And the largest was this 5.1 at Adak. And then in the lower 48 and northern Baja, we've got 104. Look at this. Here's one. New Hampshire, 2.3. Near Laconia, New Hampshire. Look down here. We've got some bigger ones here. Maniadero, Baja, 3.2, 3.6, 4.1, and 3.7. Now there was a 6 something right down here a couple of days ago. And see, there's not a lot, but they're just always there. Look at here in the Reno area. Look, here's one in the middle of Lake Tahoe, 1.1, and here's one in Pyramid Lake, 0.5, Lemon Valley, 0.3, Virginia City, 0.7, look, 0 depth. That's at the surface. That means magma is rising to cause the earthquake up inside of the mountain or wherever it is. Southern California, 24. That's kind of an average number. Searles Valley Ridgecrest, 7. That's, see what I mean? I mean, they're always going, not huge, but it's like they're always going And look at the geysers. Now we've got, this has gone down. There's only 31 here now, but this has really been active this week. And there's small ones and under, and so on. Now let's go to all magnitudes for 7 days. Let's see. Here's what's happened this week. 1,747 earthquakes this week. Look at all these big dots. We had some 6s. Right down here. So 6.0 North Pacific Ocean. This is just due west of San Diego, Tijuana area, out in the ocean. And this happened November the 1st. So I don't remember seeing one here before, and it's not on a plate line, so we're not sure what caused that. And then here on the 4th, 6.1 in the Gulf of California, right on this imperial plate line or fault line, and that line becomes the San Andreas Fault as it comes up through California, and then that connects with the Juan de Fuca plate. So if one moves, they all move. See all that? And had movement in the Atlantic. I thought we had a 6 down here. No. 5s, 4s and 5s. Look at this in the Atlantic. And here's a couple in the North Atlantic. We had one in the Norwegian Sea, 4.2. That's an Arctic earthquake. And then up here in Canada, look at this, there were 3 right up here. 4.7 on the 3rd, 4.8 on the 4th, and another 4.8 on the 5th. So there's that. Arctic earthquakes. Look at this. Here's one in Bering Strait, 3.4, and so on. And then all of these. Let's see. They're just kind of stacked up here in the Philippines, and so on. See all this? We had one in Italy this week, or off the coast, 5.5, that came in on the 31st. And then Romania had a 5.1 on the 2nd. What's this one? Yeah, 5.1. And so on. Oh, I was going to show the geysers. Here we go. Here's the geysers region. 288 this week. So that's high. And anyway, here's some movement on the Juan de Fuca plate, and so on. Let's see what Yellowstone had. 45 this week. 2s and under. Oops. So, that's about it. That's my report for tonight. And I like to always bring it back to a spiritual perspective. I do believe we're in the end times. And these times were prophesied of in the Bible. And I've just been systematically reading through the different books of the Bible. And so we're reading in Job. And Job withstood all kinds of things, but he never turned his back on God. No matter what happened, he didn't lose his faith. And we need to have his faith as we head into these dark, dark days. Job chapter 7. Is there not an appointed time to man upon earth? Are not his days also like the days of an hireling? As a servant earnestly desireth the shadow, and as an hireling looketh for the reward of his work, so am I made to possess months of vanity, and wearisome nights are appointed to me. When I lie down, I say, when shall I arise, and the night be gone? And I am full of tossings to and fro unto the dawning of the day. My flesh is clothed with worms and clods of dust. My skin is broken and become loathsome. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle, and are spent without hope. Oh, remember that my life is wind. Mine eye shall no more see good. The eye of him that hath seen me shall see me no more. Thine eyes were upon me, and I am not. As the cloud is consumed and vanisheth away, so he that goeth down to the grave shall come up no more. He shall return no more to his house, neither shall his place know him any more. Therefore I will not refrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. Am I a sea or a whale, that thou settest a watch over me? When I say, my bed shall comfort me, my couch shall ease my complaint, then thou scarest me with dreams, and terrifiest me through visions, so that my soul chooseth strangling and death rather than my life. I loathe it. I would not live alway. Let me alone, for my days are vanity. What is man that thou shouldest magnify him, and that thou shouldest set thine heart upon him, and that thou shouldest visit him every morning, and try him every moment? How long wilt thou not depart from me, nor let me alone till I swallow down my spittle? I have sinned. What shall I do unto thee, O thou preserver of men? Why hast thou set me as a mark against thee, so that I am a burden to myself? And why dost thou not pardon my transgression, and take away mine iniquity? For now shall I sleep in the dust, and thou shalt seek me in the morning, but I shall not be. Job chapter 7. Well, he was feeling pretty miserable. I know we all feel that. But there is a silver lining. There is the good news of Jesus Christ and of eternal life with God and in heaven. Jesus said, I am the way and the truth and the life, and the only way to my Father's kingdom is through me. And those of us who are believers in Christ, we know that our time is temporary and that we're going home. Home to heaven, to the promised land. But until then, if we pray and ask for God and Jesus to take care of us, protect us, give us understanding and wisdom, and guide us, that will happen, and miracles can happen and do still happen. And I think miracles will be happening more and more as we move through these days. So if you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I highly recommend it. So I hope everyone has as good a week as they can. I love you all, and I'm praying for you. We'll speak with you next Sunday. God bless you. Go in peace, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night.